Hello and welcome to the Driver Hire podcast. My name's Tony from Driver Hire Croydon and Sutton.
Hello, I'm Gary from Driver Hire in Colchester.
We represent two of Driver Hire Nationwide's network of over 100 offices. We decided to get together to create a series of regular podcasts for people who want to know more about driver hire, but principally to provide hints, tips and tricks to help our drivers be the very best that they can be. Hi Gary, how you doing?
Very well, Tony. Looking forward to doing episode 2 with you.
Thank you. So, I've got a little poser for you this week, Gary.
Really?
Yes. So my poser is, how many road signs do you think there are?
Oh, loads. I see absolutely hundreds just outside my window in the office. So I've got to say in excess of 50.
Go on, have another guess. Less than 50.
Less than 50. What main signs? I reckon we're around the 10 to 15 then if you get into nicky-picky.
Less than 10 signs.
No. Got to be more than 10.
I'm going to stop playing with you, Gary. There are, in fact, only 3 road signs in this country.
No. There's got to be more than 3, Tony.
So I am teasing you, but the purpose of this really is just to talk about the basic types of signs. So of course there's thousands of different signs, but what I'm driving at, pun not intended, is there are 3 types of road sign, and they each have a really simple way of recognizing them. So the 3 types of signs are warning signs, information signs, and orders. So let's start with the warning signs. So how do you recognise a warning sign, Gary?
Is that a triangular one?
Yeah. So a warning sign. So warning sign is a triangle. Just ignore the give way sign for a moment, which is a triangle pointing down. I'm talking about the standard triangle pointing up, and it will have a red border around it and a picture of something within it. So it could be a picture of a humpback bridge. It could be a picture of a dual carriageway coming to an end. It could be a picture of a bicycle. It could be a snowflake signifying an icy spot. But the point about it is that every single one of those is warning you that something could happen. So whether it's a deer running across a road, whether it's a school, whether it's an old people's home, you'll have a picture representing that, warning you that that thing could happen. So so the next type of sign is within a rectangle. So what are they, Gary?
A information sign?
Exactly, yeah. So so all rectangular signs, they're all information. So depending on the colour of the background, it signifies different things. So, for example, a blue background, Gary, would be what?
Motorway. I do know that one.
Green?
It is for A roads.
And white ones?
That's for minor roads.
Yeah. How about brown?
Information for knowledgeable places. We're lucky enough to have Roller World outside here, and we've got brown signs for information where they are.
Yeah, so tourist. I see. I thought you were going to go for some historic castle there, and you went for Roller World.
Well, I'm sitting here looking at Roller World, and it's easy to remind me of such things.
Yeah. So brown background is tourist information. What about yellow?
I'm not 100% certain. I'm got to go along the lines of it's a disruption diversion sign, but I wouldn't know what it would come under category wise.
Yeah, so you're right, exactly right. But so it's called temporary sign would be
right.
Yellow. So that's used on things like motorways where there's contraflows, or if there's a diversion route, temporary roadworks, and perhaps the junction's being mapped out differently while they're building it or something like that. Okay. So the other type of sign is an order, and all but 2 of those orders are circular, and they either mean you must do something or do not do something. And the difference between the you must do something and the do not do something is that the do not has a red ring around it, Probably the most common one that everybody would know straight away would be a 30-mile-an-hour sign. So the number 30 with a red ring around it, which says you must not do more than 30 miles an hour. And then the must do is a circle, but on a blue background. And probably the most common blue background circular sign would be keep left, perhaps on a bollards in the middle of the road. I was going to call it an island in the middle of the road, but it could be somebody in Birmingham that listens to this, and it would really confuse them. So the bollards in the middle of a road where a pedestrian might cross, you might see a keep left sign. So that says you must keep left. So there's two orders though that aren't circular.
One of them is definitely a stop sign.
Yes,
and that is shaped as octagonal.
Octagonal, yeah. And then the other one is the one we didn't talk about at the beginning when we were talking about triangles, which is that?
The giveaway sign.
Yeah, so that's an upside down triangle. So these two really important signs, giveaway and stop, break the rules for the signs, the shapes of the signs. But the question is, why do they break the rules for the shapes of the signs?
I believe it's to do with weather conditions. So if it was snowing, it wouldn't settle the same way as if it was a normal triangular sign on the give way sign. So being upside down, it's got an edge, and then the snow would fall down around it, so you can identify it quite clearly if it was snow covered.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, so an octagonal sign, everybody knows just the shape of that sign, even if it was covered in snow, that octagon means stop. And the other interesting thing about the giveaway sign is that it actually in everybody that uses, every country that uses the international standard for road signs will have something different if they speak a different language written within that sign. So even if you were driving in France and you came up to a giveaway sign, you'd know it's a giveaway sign even if you can't speak French. Do you know what it says in France inside a giveaway sign?
No, I'm afraid not.
It says,
enlighten me.
It says, "C'est de la passage." But I guarantee, if you drive in France, you know full well it's a giveaway sign, whether you can speak French or not. So I think it's a really interesting thing to understand, because if you try and learn every single road sign there is, you've got a lot of learning to do. But if you start with the basis that there's just 3 road signs, which is warnings, information, and orders, it's much easier to understand, because once you understand the way in which the signs are designed, it becomes really easy. So just to finish up, I've got a bit of an example of how a sign changes, even though it's exactly the same thing, for the different style of sign. So my example is a push bike. So if you saw a picture of a bicycle inside a red triangle, what would that tell you?
It's warning me there's cyclists ahead.
Okay. So if you saw that same picture of a bicycle inside a red circle, what would that mean to you?
That means, as a keen cyclist like myself, that you cannot cycle down there at all.
Yep. And what about if it was a circle again, which is an order again, but this time on a blue background? What would it mean this time?
That is, you must obey it and you must cycle on that route.
Yeah, exactly. So if that was, say, as a cycle lane down the side of a dual carriageway or something like that, what that's telling the cyclist is that that's where they have to cycle, and they can't cycle on the dual carriageway. And there's just one other, which is a rectangular sign with a bicycle in it. What do you reckon that one is?
That's an advisory one, saying, like a cycle path, you can either cycle on the cycle path or the road.
Yeah, so it's an information sign, being a rectangle. That means that it's not giving you an order. It's not telling you have to do something, but it's saying that you can cycle there. So that might be used for, a sort of cycle route that doesn't follow the road, go somewhere else or something like that. But yeah, an advisory cycle route. So it's a great way of understanding it, and the different types of sign where the same picture means different things depending on whether it's in a triangle for a warning, a rectangle for information, or one of the 2 circles for an order, the must do and the must not.
That's great advice.
So hopefully that will help anybody. And if you're driving along listening to this podcast, you'd have probably passed about 17 of these signs by the time you've finished listening. And hopefully that will help them make a little more sense.
I hope so, and that all helps us make us a better driver. We forget the highway code, and it's important that we should maintain our levels.
Absolutely. Well, Gary, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.
Yep, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it as well, Tony, and I'm looking forward to doing episode 3 with you.
You've been listening to the Driver Hire podcast, and thank you very much.
And as goodbye from myself, Gary Richards at the Colchester office.
And from me, Tony Goacher from the Croydon Sutton Office. If you'd like to get in touch with us, along with all the other driver hire offices, you can find us at driverhire.co.uk.
Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.